This is a dream for me, to be able to compete with these guys, to be able to race basically these types of cars has been my dream my entire life.
You've got to actually drive the car. A lot of these cars you get in and it's about holding the steering wheel straight and not making a mistake, but with the Super Cup, you really got to drive it and kind of manhandle the car.
Super Cup Series, it's great. People need to come out and watch these races because it's a great series.
A new national champion will be crowned tonight. After 7 months and 10 races of Super Cup Stock Car Series competition, the final showdown between championship contenders Kevin Cromer and Ron Langdon is going to go down right here. And just to make things interesting, 2018 national champion Bob Schacht makes a surprise appearance here tonight after his horrendous crash here just last year.
One final checkered flag remains here in 2019 for the Super Cup Stock Car Series, and we're already on track, ready to go for the final event of the season. Hello, everybody. I'm Gene Crane. You heard from Nathan Burke. He'll cover the action on pit road for us again this evening. Field lining up behind the safety car here at Dominion Raceway for the Night and Day Sealcoating Twin 60s, presented by Big Mike's Smokin Bar and Grill. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. Samantha Robaugh has the 7 car lined up to the inside of row number 1. Joining her on the outside is Bob Schacht in that 75 car. Jason Kitzmiller's 10 car will run from the inside of row number 2, and Ron Langdon in the 17 on the outside. The 77 of Kevin Cromer lines up inside row number 3, and Jared Brocker joins him in the 71. Lauren Butler will borrow Jason Shue's number 3. She has the 53 lined up on the inside of row 4, and Doug George will don a helmet once again. He's climbed aboard the 9 car for tonight's event. Row number 5, Casey Myers in the 6 car, and alongside him, Bill Ashton in car 35. The 14 of Mike Potter on the inside of row number 6, and Tim Richardson will take over the keyboard of the 61 car, driven earlier today by J.J. Pack. Rob Hint in the 05 car rounds out our starting grid. Field rolling down that back straightaway, grouping up side by side. Pace car about to dive to pit road, ready to go racing for the final time here in 2019. Robaugh and Schacht to lead the field off of turn 4. Flag stand, they look towards it, and green is in the air. We're underway. Samantha Robaugh gets the jump on Bob Schacht. Kitzmiller in the 10 car dives to the inside of the 75 car. They're going to make contact out of turn 2. Ron Langdon. Bird's eye view of all that action. Kitzmiller is the meat in the sandwich down in turn 3. 3 wide as they work off of turn 4. It's Robaugh to lead lap number 1. Schacht in second. And Langdon in the 17 gets shuffled back as Kitzmiller slides by. Now Langdon to the inside of Robaugh. His car loose and out of shape, just a little bit out of turn 4. Cromer's going to get by Robaugh as well. So Samantha Robaugh quickly shuffled back to the 5th position. Everybody chasing Bob Schacht along with Jason Kitzmiller. 3rd place, the 17 of Ron Langdon, still awful loose up off of turn 2. Cromer on his rear decklet as they work through the corner. Here's your leader, Bob Schacht, all to himself. He served notice in race number 1 after finishing second that this race might be his, and right now it's looking like that might be the case. Kitzmiller trying to close in off of turn 2. 10 car does not seem to have the forward drive that the 75 of Schacht has. As we work back to start finish, we head to break. Here's a look at your top 5. Bob Schacht, Jason Kitzmiller, Ron Langdon, Kevin Cromer, and Samantha Robaugh. We'll have more Super Cup action right after this. The Super Cup Stock Car Series is brought to you by Patrick Miller Photography and by 104 Plus Performance. It all comes back to performance. Performance on track right now, riding along with Kevin Cromer in the Night and Day Sealcoating Twin 60s, second of the Twin 60s. Here today at Dominion Raceway, Cromer, point leader, has just got to put together a good finish to take over the national championship. Ahead of him, Ron Langdon has been a challenger all season long. Langdon has got to win the race and hope Cromer doesn't match his performance as it's been throughout 2019. Cromer's been to victory lane a record-setting 7 times in the Super Cup Series. Cromer putting the pressure on Ron Langdon as they work out of turn 4 and cross start finish. Back to turns 1 and 2. Langdon using a wider line through 1 and 2. The car pushes up out of turn 2. Door is left open, and Cromer will slide by the 17 and take over third. So Langdon finds himself back and forth in a hurry as the car pushed up off of turn number 2. Bob Schacht, though, all by himself, no challenges. Bob Schacht in post-race interviews of race 1 pretty much called it, said race 2 would be his, and so far he's backing it up. He's put the going gone here this evening. Schacht will drop that car off in turn 3 all the way to the bottom line. Sweeps around and headed back to start finish. There is Schacht across start finish, and here is Jason Kitzmiller just getting to the line. Almost a full straightaway advantage for Bob Schacht. Kitzmiller has got his bumper cover full of Kevin Cromer. Cromer slides up the racetrack, has to get off the throttle. Langdon slides back by for third. Cromer back to fourth, and Kitzmiller still showing the way for that second position back to turns 1 and 2. Jason Kitzmiller, a newcomer to the Super Cup scene here in 2019, ran a couple of races at Shenandoah earlier this year, Shenandoah Speedway. We had a chance earlier to speak to him about his experience in moving to a Super Cup car.
We had a 6th and a 5th place run. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, but it's hard to compete with those guys that's got hundreds of laps there.
So can you take me through some of the changes between going from a go-kart to a race car?
It's all about the brake for me and learning the braking points. The acceleration, not that big deal, but the braking and the braking points is huge.
Big difference. Big old brakes on these race cars, these heavy race cars, and yes, indeed, you've got to anticipate it. Riding along with Kevin Cromer, who's got a new sponsor on the 77 here this weekend. Cromer looks to be on his way to possibly a championship, and we talked to him earlier about the sponsor change.
It's an ACDC tribute band, and for 10 years they've been working with charitable events, and they come on board to help us with our Mission Racer. They're going to help promote our Mission Racer and to raise money for that. So it's a great partnership, and there's more to come in spring. They should keep watching our webpage, which is missionracer.org, or on their www.highvoltage.rocks.
Just a few seasons ago, Kevin Cromer wasn't in a battle for a championship, but more so a battle against cancer, following which Kevin and Kelly Cromer founded Mission Racer to raise funds and try to aid cancer patients with financial assistance. So certainly glad to see new sponsorship and help in that endeavor on that race car. Riding along with Ron Langdon. Langdon's going to get by Kitzmiller for second. Langdon up to second. Kitzmiller not willing to give. He'll go back to the inside as they battle through turns 1 and 2. Langdon up the racetrack, and Kitzmiller back to second. Langdon, and they touch in turn 3. Here comes Cromer. 3-car battle for second as they work down to turns 1 and 2, going by Rob Hinton in the 05 car. They'll go nose to tail, single file. Down the back straightaway once again. Battle is for second. Everybody chasing Bob Schacht as we look at the top 5 heading to break. Don't go away. More Super Cup action right after this. The Super Cup Stock Car Series is brought to you by Chalu Performance and by Sta-Bil Oil Stabilizer. Prevent corrosion above and below the oil line. Super Cup Stock Car action. Gene Crane along with Nathan Burke bringing you the action from Dominion Raceway, where Bob Schacht took the lead on lap number 2 and has not looked back. Bob Schacht a full straightaway advantage over Jason Kitzmiller's 10 car, with Ron Langdon as we ride with Langdon in the 17 running third. Kevin Cromer running fourth, and Kitzmiller loose off of turn 2. Langdon swings to the outside. He'll use the 6th car of Meyer. As they go by Meyer to lap him, he'll use that car as a pick. Kitzmiller back to third, Cromer fourth. In this 3-car battle for the second position. Cromer will clear the 6th car of Meyer. But right now it's Ron Langdon who has that second position and has opened up about 5, make it 6 car lengths over Kitzmiller, and everybody on the brakes, wowing down. Tim Richardson driving the 61 car had Bob Shack closing in on him. That is the 05 of Rob Hint. Comes to rest in a very unusual spot at the entrance of turn 3. Perhaps he got crossed up out of turn 2 and did that slide for life down the back straightaway. Nonetheless, we're under caution here at Dominion Raceway as we ride along with Lauren Butler. We'll take a look at our premier tracks presented by Grant County Mulch, Jennerstown Speedway. Long history in the Super Cup Series, and right here at Dominion Raceway, this beautiful multi-purpose facility, part of our premier tracks program in the Super Cup Stock Car Series. Field is getting set for a restart with Bob Schacht and Ron Langdon lining up to his outside. Samantha Robaugh uses the choose rule. She'll line up 4th as she chose to go to the outside line for this restart. On the break, Langdon will take it to the 75 of Bob Schacht. They're going to race side by side down to turn 3. And Cromer's got a bird's eye view of the incident between Kitzmiller and Robaugh. They straighten it out and continue on. Kitzmiller on the inside, Samantha Robaugh on the outside. Robaugh completely sideways in turns 1 and 2 across the nose. They straightened it out and continued on. Meanwhile, the lead battle, Ron Langdon left with only the outside line to try to challenge Bob Schacht. Cannot get it done. He's back to second. Schacht reasserts the 75 into the race lead as we work back through turns 3 and 4. Bob Schacht took the season off from Super Cup and went SCCA Trans Am Racing, returns for the final weekend of racing, and looks like he is en route to possibly headed to victory lane. He was second earlier today in the first of the twins. Here is Cromer. He'll look to the inside of the 7 car of Samantha Robaugh. Cromer all the way down on the flat of the racetrack. He and Robaugh get together, and spinning around goes Samantha Robaugh. Tim Richardson having to take a evasive action in that 61 car. So we head to a second caution here. A couple of quick cautions here in this twin. Safety car heading out to pick up the field and will drop in just ahead of Bob Schacht as Samantha Robaugh gets the 7 car refired. She'll come around and rejoin the field. A little bit of fender damage. The nose on the left front pushed in just a little bit, but seems like it might clear that left front tire. Riding along with Kevin Cromer as they work down into the corner. Here is Kitzmiller and Robaugh getting together. That is right as we went back to green. And they straightened it all out and continued on. Everybody got on the binders. That let the top 2, Schacht and Langdon, pull away. But as we get set for another restart, that advantage goes away. Restart when we come back. Here's a look at your top 5. Bob Schacht, Ron Langdon, Jason Kitzmiller, Kevin Cromer, and Doug George of the 9 car makes his appearance in the top 5 here at Dominion. The Super Cup Stock Car Series is brought to you by Performance Fiberglass Products and by 104 Plus Performance. It all comes back to performance. Field set for a restart here at Dominion Raceway. The day and night Sealcoating Twin 60 presented by Big Mike's Smokin Bar and Grill. Side by side, Bob Schacht and Ron Langdon down to the green flag. We're back underway as they haul it off to turn 1. Langdon up on the outside is able to continue to challenge, and a challenge for third. Jason Kitzmiller along with the 9 of Doug George going at it. Doug George using the outside line is going to get by Kitzmiller. He'll take over third. Kitzmiller to 4th. And Kevin Cromer rides in that 5th position by himself. Earlier on, Bob Schacht showing the way. Now he's got Langdon in the rearview mirror along with Doug George. Talked to Bob Schacht earlier about getting around this 4/10 mile Dominion Raceway.
Well, you got to be smooth because the place is so fast that the corners are they're not real technical, but I mean, you got to hit your marks. And, you know, if you get too far out of them because it's so fast, it just messes up the car coming off the corner and stuff. So it's pretty much you got to get into a rhythm. Once you get into the rhythm, then it's easy after that.
Well, it appears Bob has found that rhythm, has opened up to a 4 or 5 car length advantage over Rob Langdon. Langdon's got his bumper cover full of the 9 car of Doug George. And here's the battle for 4th. Jason Kitzmiller and Kevin Cromer as they head down the back straightaway. Back into turn 3. Cromer of a wide sweep into the corner. Cannot gain any ground on Kitzmiller. They'll come up on the 05 of Rob Hint. And right in the middle of the corner, I'm not sure if Kitzmiller checked up or what, but a little contact. Kitzmiller to the outside, and Kevin Cromer takes over 4th. So Cromer up to 4th. Kitzmiller back to 5th. Everybody still chasing Bob Schatt in the 75 car. Ron Langdon behind Bob Schatt has got the 9 car of Doug George on his rear bumper cover. And Doug George is going to get by Langdon. Langdon's had a stellar year here in 2019. Picked up a win, has been a challenger for the championship, and quite a staunch competitor. We talked to Ron earlier about being in Super Cup.
To be able to run for a championship in the Super Cup Series, it's pretty special. And I've just been enjoying the ride. I've been involved in racing for over 40 years, and I've never, as a driver, been in this position. I've been in it as a car owner, a crew chief, and so on, but I'm just having a ball. I love doing this. It's almost like a dream season. We've been consistent. We've had all top 10 finishes. We broke Super Cup records and exceeded pretty much every goal. So second in points isn't going to be bad. I mean, we'll be happy. We'll be really ecstatic if we win.
Well, they have had a good time. In fact, so much I think the crew showed up a couple races ago wearing Kevin Cromer t-shirts as an inspiration to Ron to let's step it up and go get a championship. They've given it all they've had and done quite well here in 2019. It's not done yet. Cromer holding down that 4th position. That's exactly where he's got to finish no matter what Langdon does. If Cromer finishes 4th or better, he can take home the championship with only a 38 margin separating those two competitors when we dropped the green flag earlier this evening. So Langdon back to 3rd now, and watching Bob Schatt try to ride off, well, past the sunset. Setting up for a finish here at Dominion. Don't go away. Here's a look at our top 5. More Super Cup action coming your way right after this. The Super Cup Stock Car Series is brought to you by Racing Radios and by 303. Keeps your car looking new longer. Getting down to a finish at Dominion Raceway where Bob Schatt has shown the way all night long. 75 car out front. After exclaiming post-race earlier this afternoon after finishing 2nd that race 2 was his, he has backed it up. Here he is, across start finish. 2 to go signal from the flag stand. Doug George giving chase in car number 9. Doug George, competitor out of California, getting the ride in the Grant County Mulch 9 car, closing in as they work back to start finish. White flag in the air. Don't know if Doug George has quite enough time to do anything with the 75 car. He has closed the gap. They'll work around Rob Hint, the 05 car, down the back straightaway and into turn 3. 3-car length advantage for Bob Schatt. The 75 car off the corner, checkers in the air. Bob Schatt will go to victory lane as he predicted earlier today. And some contact over in turn 2. Doug George getting into the back of the 75 of Bob Schatt. An explosion here on the front straightaway. The motor explodes in the 9 car. Doug George gets it wound down and stopped to the inside of turn 1. Pulled the pin on the fire extinguisher, and safety crews over to help Doug George out of his machine. Bob Schatt pulls up alongside to see what's going on. And it looks like any potential danger has passed, so Bob is going to make his way to victory lane, where Nathan is standing by.
Bob, so you seem a little upset. Can you tell me a little bit about the incident towards the end?
Well, we got ran over after a checkered flag, which is, I mean, it's no big deal. It's just a racing thing. I've been there, done that, you know. Them two guys right there, I dedicate this race to them guys.
So you told me that you had Kevin Cromer for the second race. You said this race was yours. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, them guys are racing for points and stuff, the championship. I won a championship last year, so I know exactly what they're going through, you know. So I didn't want to mess with them guys at all. I just wanted to run my race, which I did. You know, the first race, I raced him clean and let him do what he needed to do. So I don't even know who's champion, but anyway, congratulations.
Well, hey, great job, Bob. That was an amazing race.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Congratulations to Bob. Our 2019 series champion will be Kevin Cromer. Cromer, finishing fourth here tonight, is with Nathan.
All right, so I'm here with our champion, Kevin Cromer. What's going through your mind, Kevin?
I don't know, a lot. A lot right now. I owe it to so many people that helped me this year. I can name some. JJ Pack, big help. Bob Shack. My team, my wife, my family. Jason Shue giving me a ride when I needed it. Eddie Butler and Lauren Butler, Edlin Motorsports, gave me a ride when I needed it. The good Lord rained on us at Kingsport, kept me from losing too many points there, and just a well-prepared machine.
Well, phenomenal season, phenomenal race. Congratulations to our champion, Kevin Cromer.
11 years! 11 years it took, yeah.
All right, so I'm here with Doug George. Can you take me through your race tonight?
Well, yeah, there definitely was an issue. I haven't raced in 19 years, so this is the first time I'm back in a car. I've never even seen this place before in my life, so was catching him, just ran out of time. I thought the spotter said there was one to go. I really wasn't looking at the flagman, and there wasn't. The race was over. I could barely hear on the radio, and I ran into the back of Bob, and I totally apologized, Bob. Bonehead move on my part, totally my fault. You know, hey, man, back in a car, it's awesome, man. It was such a high for me. I came here to have fun, and I had fun.
Sounds like he certainly did. Look at our finishing order here this evening. Bob Shatt, Doug George, Ron Langdon, Kevin Cromer, and Jason Kitzmiller, our top five. Jared Brocker, followed by Tim Richardson, Mike Potter, Bill Ashton, Casey Meyer round out the top 10. Then it was Lauren Butler, Samantha Roball, and Rob Hint. The 2020 season is coming together. Check it out at SuperCupStockCarSeries.com. It's been our pleasure to cover racing action here in 2019. For Nathan Burke and the entire Sopwith Motorsports crew, I'm Gene Crane. We'll see you next time.